Welcome to the Pool Chasers podcast. I'm your host, Greg Villafania, and today we've got a very special guest. We've got Matt Dube of Pro Pool Inspectors. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you, Greg?
Very good. Did I say your
Good.
name?
You did, yeah, actually. Surprisingly so. Most people don't, but you're one of the handful I can say said it right. So, thank you for
Uh,
that.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Really pumped on this episode because we're talking about marketing, and marketing is my favorite topic to talk about. And on top of knowing marketing, your communication is just phenomenal, and I love that about you. We've been working together for a couple months now, and it's just been spot on. I feel like we should be doing an episode on communication, but not today. It is a form of communication, but not the type I'm talking about.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I would say same to you. Like, I always appreciate it. And it always makes things better when people communicate good. So, yeah, thank you for saying that.
Listeners, he's being nice. My communication sucks.
Ah,
Oh, that's funny. Anyway, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do right now?
yeah. So currently I'm in like the Nashville, Tennessee area. And my background is in like design and marketing. And I worked for a couple of years in some different industries. So I started out in the healthcare and the real estate industry, worked at a company that owned and managed physician offices buildings and sold those. And I was in their design department and worked really closely with like branding, rebranding, and in the marketing department. And from there, I transitioned into the publishing industry, worked for a while in the publishing industry and the side like books and the distribution in their marketing department. And from that industry, transitioned into the pool industry, working in marketing and specifically at Pro Pool Inspectors on the inspection side. And I've worked in a lot of different industries, and some that you think about healthcare and you think about books not applicable to the pool industry. But what's really cool about that is it's allowed me to look at marketing at a lot of different angles and see what works transitionally through different industries and then what is specifically for different industries, what works better. So my background is in design and in marketing, and I specifically have a passion for branding, creating brands, and I believe that's how marketing is successfully done. It's like looking at a product or a service, not as just a product or a service, but really as a brand, as a relational entity that is there to help solve problems for customers and consumers. And so when I found out about Pro Pool Inspectors and what they were doing, I loved the product. I thought it was incredible, and it made me just want to be a part of that. And so I've been there ever since, and been really enjoying being part of the pool industry. I'd say this is probably the most fun industry I've worked in. Much more fun than healthcare, things like that. So a little bit more lighthearted and a lot of room to grow and stretch out and be a part of an industry that's really making good moves. So
Very cool. Glad you like
yeah.
it here. Yeah, it's definitely a lot different than medical. And yeah, there's almost too much room for innovation where
Mm,
sometimes you don't know where to start, right?
that's a good point, actually. Yeah, that is a really good point.
So let's jump right into this. How would you define marketing, particularly distinguishing it from advertising, and what role does personality play in a brand?
Oh man, that is a great question. If you look up what is marketing, what's the definition? Most of the time, you're going to get the definition that it is the activity or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research and advertising. And I would say that's a pretty good definition, but I would say it's lacking a couple different things. So I think that is what marketing is, but I think it's a little bit deeper than that. So I think to be marketing and what is marketing, it's five different qualities that I think go into that. And the first thing is I think marketing is it has to be defined. And that goes back to what I was talking about earlier with like branding, right? So for marketing to be effective and to really be marketing, you have to have a brand. And a brand, what that is, it's different than what most people think. It's not just a logo and the colors and things like that, but a brand is really the personality of that company and or that product or that service or what have you. So really what a brand is, it is what you say it is as the company or the marketer or whoever you may be. And also it's the image that the consumer or the client or the audience gets in their mind when they think about you or when they hear your name. So there's an element of that that you can control. A company can control what the logo looks like of their company, what uniforms the employees wear, but they can't control the feeling that somebody gets when they think of that brand. And really that happens organically and that happens over interacting with that particular brand. So a good example of that would be like Coca-Cola. When you think of Coca-Cola, I imagine you can see the red and white logo, you can see the typeface, what the letters look like, but also what you're thinking of is a crisp drink in a hot summer, right? So those are the kind of those feelings that become a part of that brand. And that really occurs organically over a consumer spending time using that brand. So first quality really, I think, to define marketing is it has to be defined. It has to be working out of a brand. You have to have that mindset of this product, this service, it has a personality in a way. And an interesting thing in the marketing industry as a whole, so across, regardless of what industry you're a part of, is a lot of studies are being done showing that people relate a lot better to personalities, to people, more than they do to a brand or a logo without a face. So, really understanding the personality of your company is going to help you define that brand and then help that brand to be more successful and connect with more people. And the second thing I think that marketing requires is it has to also be promotional, right? So you want to be hooking an audience to buy or consume more. If you're a pool service company, of course, you want to promote your services so that people know they exist and purchase them. And the same thing goes to if you're creating content on YouTube. Maybe you don't want people to necessarily buy things, but you want people to watch that next video or listen to that next episode. For branding to be effective, it has to be promotional. You have to be promoting something. Otherwise, it's not marketing at that point. It's just creating things. And the third thing is to be specific. A big practice in the marketing industry, and one I really believe in, is that you want to solve a specific problem for a specific consumer. So you don't want to solve a lot of problems for one consumer or one problem for a lot of consumers. You want to solve a very specific problem for a very specific consumer, very specific client. What that allows you to do is really define who you're marketing to and understand that person a little bit better and be able to market effectively to them. That doesn't mean that you only sell your products to one type of person. But what that means is it really goes into like researching your market. What area are you selling your product in? What are the demographics of that area? How old are the people that live there? What are their typical careers? Is going to help you further define your brand and how you speak to people and who's buying your services so that you can understand them a little bit better and what problem you're solving for them. And that's just going to help your marketing be more effective. And if that marketing also reaches out to people outside of that consumer persona, that's awesome. But if you can really hone in on that specific consumer and specific niche problem, that's going to help marketing be effective. And then multi-channel, right? So the next thing is you want to span multiple channels, right? You don't want to just market face to face or just digitally, just on email, but marketing really is going to span across multiple channels with the same message. You're marketing the same product, but you're doing that in a different iteration. So that's another thing. You want to push marketing out. It is really a multi-channeled process. And most importantly, the last thing that I believe what marketing is, it's being a problem solver for your consumer. So really what the job of marketing is, it is to write your product or your service or your business into the story of that particular consumer or client that you're solving that problem for. You want to understand, hey, this is the pain points they have, this is what they're looking for, and here's how I'm going to write myself into their problem and help them. A good example could be maybe you own a pool service company in an area and you do some research into the area you want to provide that service and you notice that a lot of people in that area want bi-weekly pool service and all the other companies are only offering like once a week. So a good way for you to separate yourself from that niche is to start advertising, hey, I offer bi-weekly service, right? And that's going to help you understand the problem that those people are looking for, become the solution to that, and then write yourself into their story and become that solution. Marketing, what it is, it's a way to define your company, be promotional, be specific across multiple channels, and write yourself into the consumer story. And personality plays a huge part of that, right? So people are going to connect a lot better if they can understand who you are as a business owner, who is your company, what do you stand for, what kind of services are you offering, and why are you offering those services, what problems are you trying to solve. And advertising is really just a small part of that. Advertising is running a commercial on the radio or running an email ad campaign or something like that. So it is a part of a whole, and marketing is really that umbrella term that's going to encompass all of that.
I love it. Do you have any tips for people in that discovery process? They're trying to figure out how they are, because you have to be slightly different
Hmm.
and you want to figure out where you're going to carve out your niche in your market because you're not like, say, a clothing brand or something that maybe you want to be worldwide. If you're
Hmm.
a service based company in one city, zip code, or however you're categorized, you definitely want to market to that target area. Do you have any suggestions for how people go about figuring out how they're going to go about perfecting who they are?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that question, I think, that question is my tip is asking, what can I do? So I think the most important thing to start that process is first understand what kind of service or product do you want to offer, and most importantly, what kind of problem do you want to solve? If you're a pool service company, what kind of problem do you want to solve? Do you want to service residential pools for people? Do you want to focus only on in-ground pools? Or do you want to do more on the commercial side? Really understand what is going to be your 80% niche that you want to focus mainly on. And that's what that's going to help you do is going to help you isolate who you're going to market to, which can also help influence maybe the area you want to do that in. So you can start from that angle, or you could start from what area do you want to operate out of? Look at a map and try to isolate, okay, I want to run my service in this particular neighborhood, or I want to expand out to here, and start looking at some demographics of those neighborhoods. How many people there are homeowners? How many people have pools in there? What kind of pools are there? Do some of that research and try to learn a little bit about the people that are there. And that's going to help you figure out what problem there is to solve. So you can come at it from both ways. You can think about, here's what I want to offer, here's the problem I want to solve for this particular consumer, and that can help influence where and how you do that. Or you can look at where and how you want to work and see what's there, see what problems, pain points those consumers may be having in that area, and then adjust your service to offer that. And that's really what's going to make you stand out from the competition, is if you can really isolate what is the pain points, what are the pain points of the consumers in this area, and how can I fit into that pain point. Of course, if you're a business, the goal of a business is to make money. If it wasn't, they wouldn't be successful. But I think aside from making money, the ultimate goal of a business is to be the solution to a consumer's problem. And that is going to help do a lot of different things. That's going to help people make purchase decisions if they want to work with you. And it's going to help people keep coming back. And that's really what we want as business owners is continual purchase, right? We want to build relationships with our consumers where they return back. And if we can help solve their problems, then we can keep them in that relational business where we're helping them and they're continuing to come back for service. And make sure, I think an important point when you're thinking about what problem to solve is you don't have to solve every problem. If everybody in your area is doing a similar thing, then you're like, oh, I have to offer this particular service. That actually may mean maybe you don't need to offer that service. Maybe that problem is being solved. And so maybe you can solve a different problem and find a way to isolate yourself in a different way. If I could give an example, our pool inspection side that we have a regional pool inspection business that we do. We often operate during a real estate transaction, and a lot of people want to know if their pool is leaking. But in real estate transactions, like, they move really fast. So we notice that people want to know if the pool is leaking, but they're not necessarily in that real estate transaction concerned with where it's leaking. They just want to know if it's leaking, and they don't have time for maybe a diver to come out. So that allowed us to go, okay, let's offer a computer leak test. Let's see if we can find a way to quickly give them the answers to the questions they're asking, which they're not asking what is leaking, they're asking, is it leaking? And if we're able to isolate a general area where that may be and still fit in their transaction time, that's going to help provide that consumer with a valuable piece of information that they're asking for without holding up their transaction, which is something that is very important in that real estate world. And so that's helped us to kind of step aside and say, hey, we're not going to dive the pool, but what we can do is we can offer this service, let you know if the pool is losing water, and still be able to fit that within your transaction time. We don't have to schedule way in advance. We can get there very quickly, answer that question, and allow you to have some information to decide if you want to get the pool dived after that. We don't offer diving in our regional business because we used to, but because of that, we've realized, hey, this is the question people are actually asking, so let's isolate that. And that way, we're not even competing with these diving companies. We can refer out to those people, but we're offering a different level of information. And we've based that service off of what we found that the industry is looking for. So I would say those 2 points are good ways to start, of asking yourself, where do I want to operate and what are the problems here? Or asking yourself, what problem do I want to solve and where are they asking for the solution?
Our friends at Pro Pool Inspectors want to show their appreciation to the Pool Chasers listeners. If you sign up for the monthly Pro Pool Inspectors app subscription within 2 weeks of the release of this episode, you can use code POOLCHASERS2024APP to receive 20% off your first month. And you can use the code POOLCHASERS2024MS to receive 20% off their yearly marketing service. Check it out.
And I'm sure that works 2 ways, where maybe you're feeding, part 2 of that phase of the leads to a diving company, and then vice versa. Maybe they don't do what you guys do, or they stop doing what you do, and they feed leads to you. So now everybody gets to stay in their wheelhouse and just do what they do. I like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. So How's marketing been instrumental in the success of your business? And could you share some insights on your personal journey with marketing, specifically within the pool industry?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, marketing has been like very instrumental in our business and the success and things. Before I was brought on, if you kind of look at our revenue and the numbers that we're generating, you can see a massive jump in when the company started taking steps to like actually try and prioritize like marketing versus just being available. So what marketing is projecting that you exist and saying what you exist for. And so if you look at our company and you see when a hard marketing push started, the revenue started really just skyrocketing. And so it built awareness that we exist and also upscaled our business drastically so that we continue to bring in leads, continue to bring in customers. And this quarter, I'll say this first quarter of this year for our regional side has been the most successful in terms of volume of inspections we've provided and in revenue secured. And this has been one of the biggest marketing pushes we've ever had. So we can see direct correlation with marketing efforts and business goals being achieved. And that's really the goal of marketing, right? The goal of marketing is to be the person like or the part of the business saying, "Hey, this is what we offer. Here's how you find us. Here's what you can do about that." And yeah, it's been massively successful. And I would say doing marketing across those multiple channels has been the most successful thing. So before I started at Pro Pool Inspectors, before the marketing department, like my team, started really honing in on doing multi-channel marketing, you can see the difference in revenue and volume, right? And then you can see an uptick exactly correlated with when we started that multi-channel marketing. So instead of just doing face-to-face or just doing digital, really pushing a marketing campaign across those different channels within our area, it's been drastically successful, I would say, for both our regional inspection business and in our software side as well.
Nice. Matt, you're so smart because you found pool chasers and you reached out, and we're a
Uh,
form of marketing for pro pool inspectors. So that
yeah,
just goes to show
yeah, and
you got your ear on the ground.
thank you very much, and you guys do too. We love working with you, and seriously, we've seen massive success since being a part of this team, and we love it. And I would say to people out there doing inspections, people out there doing pool service, being a part on a podcast or a radio ad or something like that. If it's a radio ad to be more regional, or if it's a podcast, maybe you're offering a service that's a little bit more all encompassing across the nation. It's gonna change a lot for you in a really positive way. So we love working with you guys.
I love what you said, Matt, about paying attention to the business side, the metrics, and how it correlates to marketing. I don't think enough of us, maybe in the pool business, do as good a job with that, but you having a professional background in that stuff, it sounds like you've had some formal training in that. What are some key things, some key metrics that people should be looking at when they're investing in marketing? Because I also think there's a lot of marketing companies that probably aren't doing the best job in providing the stats or details of what they're doing.
No, that's a really good question. Yeah, so I think understanding, you said the key metrics to really look at is super important. If you're running an ad, let's say you're running an ad online across maybe Google and some search engines for people that search for pool service company or pool inspection company, and you're running that ad to try to get people to click on your website. So there's a lot of different data points you can look at. You can look at impressions, and what that is like the amount of people that see your ad. Then there are going to be clicks, which are the amount of people that see your ad and then decide to click on that. And then there'll be something called conversions, which is somebody that sees your ad, decides to click on it, and then when they're directed to your website, they take an action, call you, or fill that form out. So I would say if you're trying to decide what is most important for me to look at out of those three things, I would argue that clicks and conversions are your most important thing, right? Impressions are good. That's going to let you know, is your ad going out there? Are a lot of people looking at that? But what's the most important is not that people are looking at your ad, but that they actually are hooked, right, into clicking that ad. And that's an important step. They've actually navigated to your website. And that's the most important thing is conversions. Did that person then decide to call you? And those key metrics can help you hone in your advertisement. So, for instance, if you're noticing you're getting tons of impressions and no clicks, then you know there's a problem with your ad. Either people aren't interested in that product, or it's confusing, or they don't understand what you're saying, or it could be tweaked, right? So then that'll okay, my ad needs to be tweaked. Maybe what I'm saying, what I'm offering, what I'm showing, I could show something else. So that'll help you do some research and see, okay, what can I change here? And then if you're noticing you're getting a lot of clicks, but nobody's calling, right? Then maybe that allows you to look, okay, so my ad is being successful, but when they've navigated to my website, is it clear how to call me? Is it clear where the form is to fill out? Or is it clear what I'm saying on my website? Am I directing them to the right page? So really, you want to pay attention to the action steps that people are taking. Those are the most important things. So that's an example for a web ad, that they're actually clicking on, that they are, calling you, and that will help you really tweak and find out where the drop off point is in that particular piece of marketing that you're doing. Where's that drop off point, and how can you lessen the number of drop offs you get? You're always going to have drop offs. You're never going to have the exact amount of number of clicks as you have people seeing your ad, and you're never going to have the exact same number of conversions as people that go to your website. But to be able to clean those numbers up a little bit and see where that stuff is happening, that's an important thing there. I'd say for anything else, say you're running ads on social media, gives you a lot of great tools, analytical. You can see how many people look at your post, how many people are liking it, maybe how many people are going to your website if that's something you've hooked up with your social media. So really looking at and watching where are people dropping off and why are they dropping off. Trying to figure that out is super important piece of data that you can look at. And that's something that you don't even need a marketing company to do that, right? You can do that yourself if you have the time. And it doesn't take a ton of time to just take a look at those numbers and try to isolate where those problems are and figure out how you can fix that. So I would say to summarize all of that, like looking at the action steps that people are taking and trying to figure out, are they taking them or are they not taking them? And then why are they not taking them? Can help you figure that out.
Maybe not super difficult, but it's one of a million. It's one of a million things that you've got to do in marketing. And that's where it's like, that's where the ball gets dropped. The checklist is so long and you get halfway through and then it changes. And that's why so many people hire marketing companies now, because a good marketing company, because they need somebody to deal with all of those crazy tasks. Because
Yes.
isn't marketing, it's insane. Just even in the last couple years, everything just changes so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's out of control.
It really is. It's a very fast moving beast. The second you look away, it's completely different.
Yeah. Could you give an example? Because I'm a little bit curious in how you looked at the data, the metrics, how you saw something wasn't working and how you changed it, and then you saw it working.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so let's see. But yeah, a similar example with kind of what well, I'll give you two examples. So the first one is similar to the hypothetical I gave you earlier about that digital ad. Last year in the fourth quarter of the year, we were running an ad for our inspection business here in Nashville, and we noticed we were getting not a lot of impressions. Not a lot of people were seeing our ad, which is something that we were like, oh, this is interesting. Like, why is this ad not popping up? And so that helped us realize that. So when you set up an ad for like a digital platform, you use these things called keywords, and what those are is you put them in the back end of the ad, and when people type in that particular keyword, it auto prompts that ad to pop up if it matches. So we noticed there must be a problem with our keywords. Maybe we're not adding enough keywords to what people are looking for. So that particular ad was for pool inspections, and so the keywords are like pool inspection, pool inspector, stuff like that. But maybe people were typing in, I need my pool checked, or I need a pool inspection report, or
Pool work.
pool work, or inspector near me. So that helped us isolate and really figure out, okay, let's fix these keywords. And it was a drastic jump between that quarter to this quarter in that particular ad. So our
And how
impressions,
did you figure that out? Like, how did
yeah,
you figure out to start thinking like the end user and what verbiage they were using?
yeah. So really why I went down that route is if people aren't seeing your ad, there's only a few problems that could be popping up. The number one problem that it could be a lot of people are running an ad for the same thing, and that maybe they've been doing it for longer. If your ad is newer, it's going to be bumped to the bottom of that page until Google sees that it's actually a valuable ad to bump up there. So it's either that's the problem or it's that keyword search that where people aren't being able to find you based on what they're typing in. So you need to add more keywords, or even if you look at your keywords, maybe nobody's searching for certain ones, just delete those keywords, get rid of them, and really focus on the strong keywords where people are looking. It's really like how we talked about earlier, is like looking at the metrics and figuring out, okay, people are dropping off here, and why are they dropping off here, and then focusing in on that stuff. And digital ads are really based on those keywords. On the impression side, that's how they're going to get prompted. So that led me to go, okay, there's a problem probably with our keywords, because our ad is there's not a lot of people running this ad in our area. So it has to probably be the keyword. That's more than likely what's happening. and that helped us adjust that. And then how did I get inside the consumer's head to figure out what keywords to offer? Google offers a lot of great tools for that. A really awesome thing you can do is they have a Google AdWord generator that's from Google, and you can go to that. You can just type that in on Google and it'll pop up. You can type in your industry, full service San Antonio or something like that, and it will generate keywords for you, and it will actually show you the search volume that people are searching. In the last month, over 100 people searched for full service San Antonio, or over 100 people searched for full repair company or something like that, and that can help you select those keywords. Another thing too that helps ads perform better is having relevant keywords. So if you're a pool service company and you put that you want people to look for you and you type in that you do yard work, but you just do pool service, that's going to drop your ad down. So another thing that helps you get inside the consumer's head is being sure that you're only showing the keywords relevant to what you offer. That's going to help your ad bump up. It's going to help you get more impressions. It's going to help Google see you as a good ad and a relevant ad. So that's an example. Just thinking about what are people looking for, and it goes back to that thing we talked about earlier about really asking what problem am I trying to solve for what consumer? Well, we're trying to be a pool inspection company, and we're trying to do that within the frame of a real estate transaction. That's where we want to fit in. We really want to work with real estate agents for a number of different reasons. So that helped us select what keywords. Hey, what are real estate agents searching for? That's something you can do some research in. And you can actually just look up statistics on like the National Association of Realtors and look at, hey, where are they finding service companies to work with? And what are they looking for? And that helped us to hone our keywords in. And the second example is we on our social media, we run ads on there as well, and then we do organic posting. And we noticed that we get a lot more traction doing video content versus doing just a photo or something like that. And we get a lot more content if the video is short. And we also noticed if we don't have an intro on the social media video, like a sliding graphic or something happening, if we just start talking immediately, people stay tuned in a lot easier. So that helped us go, okay, let's cut off the little slide in intro. Let's put it on the back end, just make an outro of our logo pop up. But in the beginning, let's just get right into that subject and keep people hooked. And that has helped our social media success like go up and track along with that as well. So it's just looking at what's successful and then or what is not successful and then trying to figure out why. So like for the videos, we noticed people seem to be watching videos more. Okay, so we started focusing more on videos, but the views still weren't where we liked them. We could go in our analytics to see what time do they drop off. And we noticed people swiped out in the first 5 seconds. So something in the first 5 seconds is stopping them from finishing this video. Our intro is about 4 seconds long. So if we cut that off and we just get them right into that video, and then we noticed the drop-off point started going up, people started watching more and more of the videos. And that helped our video get out to more people because that allows the systems and the platforms seeing your video successful, and they're going to promote successful content and helped us. So that helped us figure out, okay, when we're filming a video, if it's going on social media, we're not going to put an intro on there. We're just going to get right into the subject.
Do you like to do any kind of competitor analysis, like on the website of things? If somebody's ranking highest in organic on Google or Bing or something like that, and just getting the analysis on what keywords are hitting for them and what they're paying for. And I know that's a little bit more, but I think people are a little more savvy now than they used to be, even if they don't do it.
Yeah, that's a hugely important tool, and I'm glad you brought that up. That also helps you figure out where you can fit in the mix. So if you're saying, hey, what keywords are they using? What are they paying for? How successful is their ad? That can help you capitalize on what services are they not advertising. Maybe you can hone in on that particular market, or maybe you can work on your ad copy and make the copy better so that you pay less. So a lot of things like on digital ads work. Of course, you're going to pay to have that ad run, but also if the ad is more quality, you're actually going to pay less. So can you, and by quality, what I mean is when somebody types in pool service company, if you only service hot tubs and you put in pool service company, that's going to be a bad quality ad. And so they're going to make you pay more money because technically that's not what the person is searching for. But if you're a pool service company, you're advertising pool service and people click on that, that's going to be ranked as a good ad because what you're advertising is what they're getting, which means Google's going to push that up higher because the way Google works is off of relevant search queries. If it's relevant to what the user is using, they want to be seen as a reputable search engine. So they're going to make you pay less, which can help you bump up that thing organically, actually be paying less and rank higher on the list. And then also looking at who you're competing against. If you're competing against very established companies that have been there for a long time, being able to see what they're paying for can help you figure out what you want to, maybe what service you want to isolate, which can help you maybe not have to compete against them. So say everybody's offering like the example earlier, like diving, all right? And they have a 2-week turnaround time and they're paying for that and you're just doing really bad. Maybe, okay, let's add computer leak analysis. That can help me do it quicker and I don't have to compete with them. I'm offering a different service. And then you're all of a sudden you're not competing against those particular companies. You have an adjacent service, but it's a little bit different, which can help you move up the ranking a little bit better without having to compete against them. But yeah, I think looking at your competitors, always understanding like who's out there, what are they offering, and why and how are you different, and why should somebody care about why you're different is really going to help you hone those ads and hone anything you're doing in the sense of marketing and promoting your business.
Do you ever let the metrics dictate the type of content you make for social media? Or are you just, you guys have a list of topics you want to cover and you try to figure out how to create that content in a way that's working?
Yeah, I think we let the metrics influence how and where we do that, but I believe marketing is like a holistic practice. It starts from planning, right? We believe in planning in advance. Like we plan for the year. We come up with, hey, first of all, what's our business goal? What are we trying to accomplish? Goes back to that same thing of what problem are we trying to solve? This year, what are we trying to really focus on? What is our most important thing? And then we think about how can we execute that throughout this quarter and then even more specific throughout this month. And we try to tell a story. So I believe marketing is storytelling. You're telling a consumer or a client who you are and why they should care and how they can get in touch with you, what actions they can take on that. And so the metrics, what they really help us do is really hone in the story that we're telling. So back to the example with the videos and social media, we have those topics set, we're ready to go. And we've done that based on research. We've done that based on planning in advance. We've got the content ready to go. And the metrics are telling us that people are dropping off at this point in the video. So that allows us to look at those videos and see why are they dropping off? Is it the subject? Is it the intro? Is it how we're doing it? And it helps us to adjust. But I think marketing, to really understand what's working, I think you have to plan in advance. You have to execute over a long period of time, and then you have to look back, right? So if you post a video and it does really bad, that doesn't mean that video was bad. But if you post 10 videos and they are still doing that, may tell you, hey, something may be wrong. So that can help you to adjust. So we look in the long term forward and we look in the long term backwards, and it helps us to kind of plan for the future. So currently it's April of this year. I'm already thinking about next year. We've already planned out this year what we're doing. And we do tweak that. We stay at the end of every quarter, we're watching trends, we're watching the industry, we're watching success of previous quarters. We may make some tweaks, but we have a general idea of the story we're trying to tell throughout this year. And we're telling that on the long term to see, is it successful? And where has it been most successful and where has it been least successful? And that's going to help hone in for the next year. But I believe you can't look at one event and say, oh, the metrics on this are bad, so let's just scrap that. You have to look at it as a series or as a long-term plan and evaluate the success of that plan and help you find out what works best and what doesn't work best.
Love it. As listeners know, and anybody new to this can hear, all of this in marketing can be crazy time consuming. What are some strategies pool professionals can use to make the marketing process more efficient and manageable?
Yeah, you're totally right about that. I mean, my full-time job is just marketing, right? So that's a 40 hours a week marketing.
Yeah,
It
we
can
can
be
tell.
no, thanks. But it's definitely time consuming. But I think there are still strategies that pool professionals can do right now without having to be time consuming to start to scale that business up without having to expend a lot of money in the front end. So a lot of those things, I think the most important thing is automations, having things run for you in the background so that you can get out there and do what you need to do. You can inspect pools, you can service pools, you can do repair work and have things working for you in the background. Those things can be things like Google ads. You can and run search ads where people can type in those keywords like we talked about and they can find you. And all you have to do is set that up and let it run. And the great things about those is you can set them up a lot of different ways. There's things called cost per click, which means if somebody doesn't click on your ad, you're not paying anything. So that's a great way to have a system run in the background for you. I think a really important tool for anybody in the pool industry, whether you are a service guy or you're an inspector or you're both or you're doing repairs, is to have some kind of email automation set up. Something There's a lot of programs out there, things like MailChimp and different things like that. Something set up where, say, somebody takes on service with you, and when that service is done, they're entered into your database, and it sends them an email thanking them, asking them to fill out a survey how well you did, and then they're entered into a funnel. Maybe 2 days later, that system sends them another email that says, "Thank you so much for being a part of us. Here's a 10% off your next service." right? And then a week later, maybe one more email, and then they're entered into maybe you do a weekly or a monthly email. So what that's doing is you can set those emails up in advance. You just write a bunch of them, you put them in that funnel, you hit play on that, and you're good to go. You can go out there and inspect. You don't have to write those emails every week. You can just do them all in one sit down, and then the next quarter you can do your next ones. You can save your campaigns and redo them, and that can help just keep people aware that you exist. And that's really the point of marketing, is to let people know you're there so that they don't drop off and forget you exist. Good marketing, I believe, is relational. It's where you work with your clients multiple times. They don't just purchase your pool inspection once and move on. If they're a real estate agent, you create a partnership with them, and the only way you can do that is if they know you exist, and you're letting them know, hey, here, we're still here. Here's what we're offering. Here's how to get in touch with us. And the last thing I would say, some kind of AI tool is really good to help. And that can sound intimidating, and I'm definitely not an expert on artificial intelligence, but having something like the Google Gemini, something you can type in, hey, help me write an email about my pool service company that in this area of the country, this is what we offer, can help cut time down, especially for a pool professional that isn't ready to make that full plunge into marketing, but really wants to try some efforts themselves to scale up. Having that is going to cut so much time off of your day. So you can integrate that together. You can use that AI tool to say, hey, help me write an ad to put on Google. And it's going to tell you, it's going to give you step by step on how to set that up. It's going to write the ad for you, and you can tweak it. Help me write an email campaign, and that's going to help you just set that stuff up, get it running in advance, and then you can move on once you have that set up and let it run in the background. But yeah, having systems that just do the work for you require a little bit of work up front, but are going to do a lot for you in the future, I think. And that's something that it's a small step, but an impactful step that you can take on any step of that pool industry journey, regardless of what particular branch of the industry you're in.
So, what practical steps can businesses take to enhance their marketing efforts, including automation, ads, social? How does some of that, including AI, play a role in the future of marketing?
Yeah, great question. For actionable steps, I would say the things we talked about, automations, getting those things set up in the back end to help you as you work take care of that stuff for you. I think honestly, look at marketing as an investment. I think that's the most important thing that you can do as an actionable step. It's easy to think about, oh, I have to pay this money for this ad, or I have to pay this money for this staff member, or pay this money for this company to do marketing for me. But really what that is an investment, and because marketing is the way that businesses grow. If people don't know you exist, if they don't know what services you offer and how to interact with those services, that you're not going to grow. And of course, we all want to do marketing organically as much as possible because we don't want to spend money to make money. But I think if you start to view marketing as an investment to grow your company, that is the most important thing. And I think decide what level of investment that you want to make, and then do your research on how you're making that. Maybe you want to hire somebody to do marketing for you. Look at what kind of marketing do you want to do, and do your research on that person. Or maybe you want a company to do that for you. Do that research on that company, figure out what works for you. But if you're not ready to take the leap like that, I'd say set up those automations, start building a presence. That's the important thing. In terms of social media, a lot of consumers, especially in the age brackets, millennials and younger, which are starting to age into a big consumer base, they're starting to even be homeowners. They're using social media to help make their purchase decision. So, for instance, when I'm looking up a company, I'm Googling them. A lot of people, and there's a lot of data on this, are going to Instagram, they're going to TikTok, and they're watching content because they want to see what this business is all about, and that's helping them make that decision on if they want to work with them. So start building a social media presence. Like, it doesn't have to be super complicated. Of course, you can get super complicated with it, and that's a good thing, but being active on there, creating content, looking like a live business, a live person and page is going to help people make purchase decisions, and it's going to help prepare for the future of where the market's going, which is looking at these social media platforms, which were developed to be a social space as a place where you can research different companies. So I would say look at marketing as an investment. Number one, that's the most important thing. Do as many things automated as you possibly can, and then start building your presence, whether that be on social media. If you're a service company, maybe run some billboard ads, run some radio ads, let people know you exist in that area, run some digital ads. So build that presence and look at marketing as an investment to grow your company. And then the most actionable, I think, thing you can do is evaluate the success of that investment. Look at, is this working? Let's say you start a marketing push and you're doing a lot on social media and you're doing a lot on radio ads, and you notice you're getting a ton of business from radio ads and you're getting virtually nothing from social media. Again, make sure you're looking at this over a long span of time, but maybe that means like your business is most successful on radio, so spend less time on social media and more time running more ads on the radio. Look at what works for you, over that long term and then really invest into that particular avenue. It's going to be different depending on the area you live in, the industry you're working in, the services that you're particularly providing, and who you're providing them to. And so definitely don't neglect to look at the metrics. And don't let the metrics scare you, but let them help you hone in the story you're trying to tell.
So, in today's digital age, is it essential for all marketing efforts to be online, or is there still a place for traditional marketing methods?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a place for traditional marketing efforts, and especially like face to face, like meeting people. And I think the pool industry is one of the biggest industries where that's an important thing. I think that's because, you know, you can't service somebody's pool online. You can't inspect their pool online. You have to physically show up to offer these. Most of the service, if not all of the service in the pool industry, you have to be present at the particular site when that service is occurring. Your face-to-face presence is super important, and so traditional marketing efforts play a huge role in that. On the service side, I think it goes into, we don't think about marketing as this, but marketing and branding, it's how you even speak to customers. What's your protocol when you show up? Do you knock on the door and shake their hand, or do you just go in the back and start working and ignore them? Things like that. That's a marketing effort that lets this consumer know, the kind of person you are. And I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong way, but just considering that even with marketing is so helpful. And then if you're thinking about pool inspections, a big successful audience that we want to work with as inspectors is real estate agents. And the best way to reach real estate agents is team meetings, right? Going to their office, seeing if you can come by and chat with all of them in one location. They're on the go bunch. They're not together very often, but when they are together in team meetings, you can get them all in one spot and talk with them and get to know them. That's an important piece of the puzzle. And like we talked about earlier, people relate a lot better to a personality more than to a stoic brand with no face. That's why if you think about ads at grocery stores, depending on what area of the country you're in, like Walmart or Publix or Kroger or what have you, a lot of their ads, if not all of them, have physical people on the photos, right? They're going to have people smiling and shopping because you're looking at that person and you're associating them with that particular company. And that is making you feel like you understand that company a little bit more, which makes you feel more comfortable about working with them. In terms of traditional marketing efforts, meeting people face to face, I think is still a valuable part of marketing because of the data is suggesting that people are relating more to that personality. And so actually getting to meet them is letting them associate you with that particular brand, which makes them work better with you. We've had huge success with that because people connect with specific people at our company and they love this particular person and they want to continue working with us because they love that particular employee, that person out there. And so that's been vastly instrumental in our success as well.
So, how can pro pool inspectors help with their marketing?
Yeah, so we offer a lot of different services. In terms of marketing, our goal is to be the definitive pool inspection company. And when we say that, we want to solve the problem for the inspectors out there of every problem that they may incur. That's what prompted us to develop our software. Like we noticed there isn't something out there that's helping inspectors walk through the inspection and know what to inspect. So we want to offer that valuable tool. Then we noticed there's a problem with a lot of inspectors in the industry calling us like, hey, I don't understand what to inspect. What are the standards? What code should I be looking at? And so that helped us decide, we want to offer training. We want to help pool inspectors feel like they have a tool that can help them do their inspection and that they feel confident that they know what to inspect and how to inspect. And so then we noticed as well, people are feeling, okay, I feel equipped as an inspector. I feel like I have all the tools I need, but I don't know how to get my name out there. So that made us also decide we want to offer marketing in the pool inspection world. So we offer that in a multitude of different products. We have a marketing course. That's a 3-hour course. It's held remotely. We currently have 2 dates that we have posted for May 8th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and May 22nd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, where you'll be with a live instructor online in a virtual meeting room where they're going to be able to instruct you. You can ask questions, and we can really help hone in on actual practical steps. What can I do right now? How do I set up this particular tool? What tools should I select to set up? So that's a great resource that we offer. We also offer marketing services where we actually will do the marketing for you. Our most robust one is our marketing maintenance package, where we will actually be the marketing company for your pool inspection business. And this is for people running pool service businesses that want to advertise their inspections, or if they just want to open up a separate inspection business. It's a subscription-based plan. We have a yearly price where you can pay for a year in advance and get a substantial discount, or a monthly subscription where you can pay month by month, and we will handle your marketing efforts for you. Everything from digital ads, email campaigns, coaching on face-to-face efforts, creating materials and shipping those materials to your business, rack cards and business cards, all that good stuff, and social media campaigns where we're going to do a full marketing push for you, provide results, right? Show you, here's what we've done, here's how many people we've brought in, here's what this year looks like, here's the marketing plan for you. We even help design logos, things like that. And that's all included within that subscription price. And then if you're like, okay, I don't want to take that plunge yet, I just want to market myself, but I don't know how to get started, we offer a brand starter package where we will help create your brand, whether it's existing or not already, logos, a brand book, materials like things you can hand out, social media platforms, setting up your Google Ads and email stuff, and then we give that package to you to do it yourself. So we want to really help inspectors no matter what stage of the journey that they're on, whether they want to learn themselves, they want to run it themselves, or they just want somebody to run the marketing for them so they can focus on inspections.
Dude, that's awesome. So where can people find out more information about the marketing and all the training and different stuff like that? Where can they go?
Yeah, I'd say you can find us on any social media platforms where ProPool Inspectors software is for our software and training and all that good stuff and marketing, or our website, propoolinspectors.com. If you want to learn more about the marketing, you can just navigate to our website and see it on the menu marketing services, or you can go to propoolinspectors.com/marketing-services. And for training, it's the same thing, propoolinspectors.com/training. Check that out on there. And also, we love our Pool Chasers audience so much and working with you guys. Like, we're currently running a promo for 2 weeks after this episode drops for our marketing maintenance and a month off, or a discount on our first month of our app subscription. So check that out. But yeah, our website, social media, and then we're also on YouTube. We've got some content on there too if you just want to check out some stuff. We got some resources.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Matt. This was a really fun episode. I can tell you really know your stuff, and I know people are going to be in good hands. So look forward to seeing the results of all of this stuff. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, thank you. I love working with you too, and I've just enjoyed getting to chat with you. This just felt like a conversation, and the microphones happen to be on. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. Love to be back anytime.
Exactly. Thank you.